How many of you have ever been to one of my seminars? Because I've done, okay, some ladies up here. I've done some seminars close to here. I think Elkins Church, I've been there. Did I do one when, after I was married? Did Rendell come and play harmonica? Yeah, now they ask him to come back and play harmonica. No, he does a beautiful, beautiful job. My husband played for the world for years. And we are both raised Seventh-day Adventist Christians. We both, in our young adult life, decided that the world was very attractive and went out into the world. And you know, it doesn't take very long to figure it out. Praise the Lord that He is so forgiving and loving that He accepts us back into His. Yeah, amen. I hear so many times young girls and young men getting married, you know, that spouse-to-be might not be exactly what they should be and wondering if that's okay. It's not. It's not, trust me. I don't know if you've heard my story or not about, it's been probably 12 years ago now. I was probably right about my middle 50s. Was I? Yeah, I'm getting close to 70 years old now. And I must be standing too close to something. And I went to a church cooking class at the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Fredericktown, Ohio, where I was living at the time. And I took somebody to this cooking class to help them to be able to possibly reverse some of their heart diseases. And at the time I went, I weighed almost 300 pounds. And I had the start of type 2 diabetes. I was taking a heart medication for 22 years. I had really high blood pressure. I've been in the hospital twice with super high blood pressure, fibromyalgia, obesity, severe obesity. Now, I have to be honest with you. I lost a lot of weight, and I've actually gained. I was trying to figure it up in the car on the way down here, and I was trying to be honest. Think about 29 pounds since COVID. In 2000, was that 21? See, everything's a blur. Yeah, I call it my COVID fat. And I've never gotten off of my plant-based diet, but there is a difference between a plant-based diet and a whole food plant-based diet. And that's where the extra pounds came on. Plus, we were home a lot. Plus, we were sick with COVID. Plus, I was a long hauler. I didn't know it, but I had COVID from February until June. February, I think it was, I cooked for Dr. Nedley for his son, for his wedding, and his oldest son. And I had it, that's when it really hit me, and I did not realize I'd had it since we'd been in California in February when it started. My husband, who, when I met, was trying to regain his health after years of what we call abuse to our bodies. And that's how we started talking. I think at that time, your highest weight was what, 270 pounds? I think you're right at 218 right now, so you've put on about 18 pounds. So we do everything together. Through thick and thin, mind you. And, but he was on 2 high blood pressure medications. He was on diabetes medication. And what was the other one you were on? Hypertension, diabetes. I think you were on cholesterol. He was on 4 medications, and within 2 months of us being married, he was medication free. Totally. Now, my husband is 76 years old. Yeah, I told him, I said, if you had hair, they'd think I was a cougar. Because he looks great. I mean, he does a lot. He's very active, and we hope to be even more active. And it's amazing, the concept, and think about this deeply, what food can do. And when you think about how food got us here, what is the thought of food getting you back? Because they never tell you that. They try to put us on medication. They're called lifestyle diseases. And the reason for that is because of our poor lifestyle. So when I figured that out, I was in my mid-50s, and I had lost my dad at the age of 56 with type 2 diabetes and congestive heart failure. I had twin brothers. I lost one at the age of 50 and one at the age of 45 with type 2 diabetes and congestive heart failure. And folks, I was much fatter and sicker than they were. I would have given anything to have known then what I know now, that I could help them. But I didn't. But it was a wake-up call for me. I was talking to a friend on the way down here, and she said, you know, Melody, once somebody reaches the point to where they have to have dialysis or they're on insulin, it's hard to reverse. You can, but it's extremely hard. So if you do it now, before that happens, most people can totally eradicate the lifestyle disease. If anything, they can minimize it a lot. I know when my husband did, I don't remember what your cholesterol was, but what was your cholesterol when Dr. Schwartz did it last year? 117? 117, it even went as low as 87. And they told him, you've got to get your cholesterol up higher. And we were in California when COVID hit. 3ABN was doing a winter camp meeting, and I was cooking for the 1,200 people that were going to show up. And my husband is my gopher. He goes for this, he goes for that, he goes for everything. So if I order supplies, my husband's the one that goes and picks them up and brings them back. So he's constantly this shopper going in and out of stores. Saturday was the last day of the event. About 30 minutes prior to serving lunch, I had an accident, my first accident in the kitchen. Somebody came through with wet pans. They didn't realize that they were on the floor. I was out in the cooler, come back in, didn't look down at the floor, and down I went. I broke my tibia and tore the meniscus with 1,200 people to feed. God is good, because my crew took over and they did an amazing job. The next day, my husband started feeling really bad. He's like, I just feel terrible. He started coughing and coughing. We did not know it, but my husband caught COVID from somebody in one of his travels out there. And I couldn't drive home because I had a broken leg, and by the time I went to emergent care, because I said, just take me up till I get back to Ohio, because I'll go to my orthopedic there. I knew if I went there and had to have surgery, that I wouldn't be able to get home. I'd be there for months. And so I said, just do what you have to do. So I had this stiff cast on, and I'll tell you, it only lasted to New Mexico. I had him cut it off of me. I said, I can't handle this. It was awful. But he had to drive all the way from Loma Linda, California to Texas. And then from Texas, we were going to drive up to Ohio to meet my orthopedic. We got there on a Friday just before Sabbath, and he said, I don't want to unload the car till tomorrow, after Sabbath. Sunday, he started unloading it, and I went in the bedroom, and my husband fell face down on the floor. I called 911. They were there immediately. My husband, with a cholesterol of 146 at the time, had what is now called a COVID heart attack. And he was within minutes of losing his life. We had no idea. We didn't know it. They were able to get the arteries clean. Since then, nothing. Everything, his numbers have been perfect. And unfortunately, that's some of the side effects that we know now from COVID. So I caught COVID on the way home, and as a chef, I can tell you I had it because I had no sense of smell and I had no sense of taste. And I didn't realize that it stayed in my intestines for months and months until finally in July it exploded at another camp meeting I went to where COVID was going around, and that's when it really projected. And so here I am then. But you know, as bad as it was, we used every natural remedy we could think of. maintain not eating sugar, because what does sugar do? Do what? It destroys the immune system. And don't we need our immune systems to be as strong as they possibly can, because that's our only defenders. We need the white, red blood cells. They work together to supply oxygen and to defend off any viruses or something that comes into our body. God is an amazing creator. And so I did, and we were able to get rid of COVID. Now, I'm not saying it didn't do some damages for a while to our body. It took a while. Now, I don't know if any of you've had COVID or not, but one of the best things you can do for it is dandelion. Did you know that? Dandelion helps to remove the after effects of COVID. And so I have dandelion root. I have a product, and I'm going to serve it this week. It's a dandelion drink. It tastes almost like a coffee, but I would take a tablespoon of it and 16 ounces of water. I would not add a sweetener and even stevia. I would just drink it down. And I could tell within a week, my body started to react to feeling better with the dandelion root. So the first thing I did is I remembered not to eat sugar. I said it's not worth it. If I eat anything sweet, normally I might have a date. Does anybody here like dates? I love dates. And I might have, I like mine with pecans. It's like pecan pie. In the South, everybody loves pecan pie. But if you take a date and a few pecans and just eat them, I feel like I've had a pecan pie. But even then, I'm not as much of a dessert person. I like the salt fat. You know, either somebody loves sweets, chocolates, or they love salty fat. I kind of like it all, but salty fat is my favorite. So I have to even stay away from that. But we started to feel better. My husband really never, the first COVID he had, because he had it twice, too, because we share everything. And so when he got it, he wasn't as sick the second time as I was. It got into my lungs, and that was a bad thing. But I bought a nebulizer. I bought eucalyptus oil, and I started breathing it through the nebulizer and did hot and cold fomentations, and boom, 3 days gone. Wonderful, wonderful. So God has given us so many things to use in nature, because when Jesus was on the earth, what medication did Jesus use? And he used herbs. And I couldn't believe this. When I was doing research on food and drugs, most of the drugs are out there are, some of their components are herbs. They just put stuff in there we shouldn't have. Anyway, has anybody here read Selected Messages, Volume 2? Selected Messages, Volume 2. Have you read the part on diseases and its causes? Amazing. If y'all have this book, or if they have it here from the ABC, I would recommend getting those books. It's a 3-volume set. I did, number 2 is what has this particular chapter in it. And one of the things that Ellen said is God never intended for medication to be entered into our bodies. She also said that there would come a time where our taste buds would overcome our reasoning. And what does that mean? Perverted appetite. And I'm going to tell you what, I know. I was married for 40 years in my first marriage, and I was in an abusive relationship. You never talk about it while you're in the relationship because it's an embarrassing situation. We don't want anybody to know how bad things are at home. And food became my best friend. So a lot of times Satan will use the weakest part of our lives to gain access to us, and he did mine through food. So even my husband today, I've talked to him, you know, if somebody's having a problem, they call me, if they're crying or they're upset, I get nervous to the point to where I want to eat even if I'm not hungry. because of the 40 years of that habit. It's a very hard habit to break. So whenever we hear something like our taste buds will overcome our reasoning, Satan is using that against us. And that hit me really hard when I read that one day. And actually, I was on my way to West Virginia in a car while that man was driving when I read it. And I just started crying. I said, oh, Rendell, what we have let Satan do to us. Because I spoke with my sister yesterday, and we were talking about food, and I said, Ricky, you've got to make changes. I said, you've got to get back to this whole food plant-based diet. She said, I know. She said, have you tried those Impossible Burgers? I said, no. She said, you really haven't? And I said, no, and I'm not going to. And we figured up the math on the fat, and it was 72% fat. I don't think a hamburger has that much fat in it. There was saturated too. There was both. Fat, but fat is fat. It was, the first 3 ingredients were oils. And she said, but it tastes so good. And I said, but yes, that's what they're trying to do, because I said, this food, I said, there's a science out there. Do you guys know about the science with the sugar, salt, and oil? There is a math to it that whenever they, Olive Garden, for instance. If you've eaten at Olive Garden and you go by, your brain still remembers because of your taste buds how good that was. It's a type of addiction. And their formulas that they have created helps you, so when you go by, you constantly remember. I haven't eaten at Olive Garden in years, but if I drive by there, my brain, I can tell I'll salivate like, man, that salad dressing was really good, sugar, salt, and oil. And that's what it does to us. So remember, our taste buds will overcome our reasoning. And she says it will be stronger in the last days. And I do believe we're living in the last days completely. This week, while I'm here, what I want to do is help you as much as I possibly can. I don't know what your struggles, if you have any. I don't know what your battles are. I don't know if you like to cook or you don't like to cook, but we all have to eat to live. And that's the bad part about it. Alcoholism, you don't have to have alcohol to survive. Somebody who smokes, they don't have to have cigarettes to survive. But when people have food addictions, they have to eat to live. And that's why appetite has been one of the strongest sins that we've had to overcome, to the point to where Jesus suffered 40 days and nights to overcome our appetites. That's how bad it is. So I need you to tell me what you need. Are you looking for something quick? Are you looking for something breakfast, dinner? And I like to talk to the people that I'm talking in front of. I need you to tell me, what are you looking for to make it as simple as possible for you to maybe try a whole food plant-based diet? Yes?
What do you mean by
Whole food means it's not processed with oils, a lot of salts, and sugar. So like crackers you buy in the grocery store are empty. The calories are high, the fiber is low, the fat is high. And so you're eating a food that's so processed that by eating this many crackers, like a stack of crackers this big, let's say 11, you could have eaten 2.5 potatoes. So it's called calorie density. And whole food plant-based is eliminating all of the oils and the fats that are processed. I use nuts, I use avocados, I use seeds, but I don't use olive oil, period. I use no oil. I do have a little olive oil in my house. I use it sometimes to rub on my hands when I'm cooking. It really helps when your hands for drying out. And I don't use earth balance margarine. I call that the Adventist margarine. It's only one molecule shy of being plastic. It's nothing but salt and fat. So I don't use margarines at all, and I don't use sugar. I don't use refined sugars because these are the things that cause obesity, they cause diabetes, they cause heart problems, on and on. Any of your lifestyle diseases are caused by those types of food. So my food is natural. I might process it myself, but everything I use is whole. See what I'm saying? And I've got some food planned to make for you guys this week that will help you with that. So if you had to do a whole food plant-based diet and you couldn't buy chips and crackers and all of these products, could you still cook the way you cook at home right now? Could you? So you don't buy those things. See, I don't either. I don't buy them. There's a lot of vegan cheeses on the market. Trust me, they're really good because this last 2 years when I put on weight, I tried it. Too much. They're really good, but are they healthy? No, I have a lot of people say, well, it's vegan. It doesn't make it healthy, folks. It doesn't make it healthy. Did anybody else have a question on? Yes?
Well, I don't have a question, so I'm looking for entrees.
You're looking for entrees. Okay, so entrees like meatballs, meatloaf, tofu. Okay, I've got some tofu I'm making this week. I'm going to air fry it. I've got my air fryer here. And I'm going to make an air fried tofu chicken over rice with like a sweet and sour sauce that takes minutes in comparison. I always cook in volume. Does anybody here cook in volume? You do? I do. I have to. Yes. Did you? I have to. I went ahead and pre-made my sausages to bring here because it's not like I have a convection oven. And I made 88 sausages in a matter of an hour. And at home, and my husband can tell you, I will set big bowls. That's why all these bowls are here. I use these to soak my beans in overnight. When we go to bed, if I'm low, I might have my garbanzos, my black beans, my kidney beans, my pinto beans, my lima beans, whatever I want, I have them out because I have an Instapot, I have other products that I can use to cook them faster, and I can cook on the stove. So when I cook them, even for just my husband and I will cook my food like 2-3 pounds of beans of one variety at a time. So I can put in my freezer in one day 10 pounds of beans cooked, at least. And I bag them up per portions, and I stack them nice and neat in my freezer. I make lasagna, I stack it up in my freezer. We eat it that night for dinner, and then or evening, and then I take the rest, cut it up in portions, put it in my freezer. I make my meatballs, I put them in my freezer. I never make anything for just he and I for one meal, ever. But how long does it normally take me to fix a meal, even if we just came home and been shopping all day or out doing something and I have to get dinner on the table?
Not much more than when I wash my hands.
And the reason for that is it's in my freezer, and I can. And let me tell you something, folks. When you go to the grocery store, do you bring your produce back and put it in your refrigerator dirty? Huh? Why? Why would you do that? When I go to the grocery store, and trust me, a lot of people think, well, Melody, you're retired. No, I'm not. And I work sometimes 50, 60 hours a week. But I always make sure when I go to the grocery store, I wash my berries, I wash my fruit, I wash my vegetables, my lettuce, my celery, my carrots, my cucumbers, my radishes. Everything I bought, I clean and prep. And I have these wonderful plastic containers, I wish I had one here with me, that I can put in my refrigerator, and they're all clean. So when Brindle and I have been out all day long, or if we've done a seminar, we're on our way home, mid-afternoon, we're hungry because we really don't like to eat out. We can come in and I can grab my steamer, take my different entrees I've made, even put little bowls in there. I don't have to use the microwave. When people say they nuke their food, that's exactly what the microwave does. So why would I spend all this good money on good nutritional food and then put it in the microwave and just zap all of its nutrition? So I have this big steamer. I call him One-Armed Jack. He's here somewhere. I'll show you the next couple days because he's lost a handle. And I put my food in there. My salad is already ready. I don't have to clean a thing. I might have to break something up, slice something, put it in there. He washes his hands, changes clothes, comes out, and guess what he gets to do? Eat. Eat. It's not a drudgery. My sausages are in the freezer, my burgers. I've got 4 different variety of burgers, and we eat a lot of burgers, and they're very, very healthy. One has 0 fat in it. The other 3 have minimal fat because they have some nuts or seed in them. But I can go to that freezer on any given time, pull that food out, and make something that quick. And I probably spend about 10 hours a week prepping all of my food and making sure I have everything I need. And it might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I'm out of one of my beans, depending on what kind of dish I made within that 2 weeks that I have to use it. Did you have a question? How big is my freezer? It's just in a refrigerator. It's just a regular freezer. I do have a small one down in the garage, but I don't have all the other stuff in my freezer. I have my foods that I've already prepped. I've actually steamed lightly, it's almost al dente for potatoes, and frozen them and made potato salads and made all kind of food with my potatoes, and they don't even taste like they've been frozen. I found that secret out when I cooked for 3 ABN, when you're cooking for 1,500 people. And same way with pasta. You can cook pasta to just before it's done. I lay it out, I let it cool, I bag it up, or I put it in my containers, freeze it, and I can make a pasta salad within minutes after it's thawed out, and I don't even have to cook it twice, or cook it from scratch. So I do that a lot. Spaghetti sauces, I make my marinaras, I make a lot of sauces, I can freeze them as well and put them in there. So I have my cooking recipes almost 3/4 done in my freezer. And we have a big variety. There's sometimes Ren will say, I want stir fry. And that's good, because I always have rice, I always have potatoes, always have beans in my refrigerator. It might be a black rice this week, a gaba rice the next week, a brown rice, but I try to, make a variety. So I have the vegetables cook, I just chop them up and stir fry without oil. Yes?
Question. You told us that your fruits, you immediately wash them. Why?
I wash my strawberries. The reason why I wash those, I use vinegar for all of my cleaning of my fruits and vegetables, because I can keep strawberries in my refrigerator when I wash them, rinse them, and let them dry out for 2 weeks without them spoiling.
It's not the chemicals on the fruit that you do this?
I do both, but see, you're not going to eat that fruit till you wash it, right? That's right. So mine's already washed in my refrigerator, so I don't have to go over and cut and work.
You've got a time saving this year.
Oh, huge time saving. And when I come home from the store, I don't just throw my food in that refrigerator. That's when I start prepping it, right from that very point.
Does the vinegar cut the bacteria?
The vinegar gets rid of that residue, those pesticides on the fruits and vegetables. It's far cheaper than buying that expensive wash that you buy. I use vinegar to clean my kitchen. I use it to clean my vegetables.
Last 2 weeks. It does.
Strawberries, it does. It does help the bacteria. Well, sure it would. But I do it also to get rid of those chemicals on the food. Unless you're buying organic, but that doesn't mean there's nothing on there either. You don't know for sure. Yes? I take about one of these big pans and I do blueberries. The only ones I don't clean are raspberries, because a few wet raspberries are going to be moldy the next morning. So I take one of my big bowls and I put about a half cup to a cup of vinegar, fill it up with water, put my fruits. You don't have vegetables in this one. I might have celery in another one, carrots, whatever, cabbage, lettuce. I've got this plastic container that has a little bottom that sits about this high up off the bottom of its container, and it's kind of beveled, and it has holes in it so it can breathe. And I bought these neat little things. I wish I had one here, but you can buy them. I bought them at Home Goods or TJ Maxx, and they're called refrigerator moisture towels. And I put that, and they wash and dry. I put it in the bottom. I can put lettuce in there. He and I went to South Dakota, and I forgot to take our lettuce with us. And I had cleaned it, made sure it was good and dry, whether you spin it or you let it set out. And I put it in the refrigerator. We were gone 10 days or 12 all total. 10 days, come back, and that lettuce was as good as the day I put it in that refrigerator. So my groceries are lasting far longer when I do that. Yes, sir. I cut the end of it off, I pull it apart, I clean it really, really good, because your dirt's going to go to the bottom of the bowl anyway. And you know, all we hear lately is lettuce and listeria, or lettuce and all this bacteria and all these products, and it's like, I don't care if it says triple washed, I am going to clean my produce. I do. I don't use iceberg personally. I use romaine mostly, butter lettuce, red leaf, green leaf lettuce. So I like those type of lettuces the better. I like a real crunchy lettuce, but it'll last for weeks in my refrigerator. Yes?
How long do you let it sit in the vinegar and wash?
You know, I've never timed it. I'm just busy. So if I've been at the grocery store, I might be doing other things. I might be getting something out of the freezer refrigerator to fix us for dinner or whatever at the same time. So I really don't have a time on it. It can sit there for an hour or two. We were at our friend's house, and I bought some red and green grapes, and they were conventional. They were not organic. And Alvin was coming through the kitchen, and he kept eating some of those grapes. And I said, I hadn't washed those grapes. He said, oh, they're just so good, I love grapes. I took them and put them down in the vinegar water for about 30, 40 minutes. I got busy doing something. I came out, rinsed them all off, set them on a towel to dry. Alvin comes through and he said, where'd you get those grapes? I said, at the store. He said, well, they taste far better than those grapes you had out earlier. I said, really? What do you mean? He said, well, these must be organic. He said, these really taste good. I said, Alvin, they're the same grapes. I cleaned them with vinegar and water. He could not believe it. He didn't know it. He wasn't paying any attention. He was doing something else. But he noticed the difference when he tasted those grapes. Yes?
What's the minimum time you put them in the vinegar water?
I would say 15 to 30 minutes, yeah. I've never timed it, it doesn't matter, but I've got other things to do, so I don't mind doing it. You can't overdo it. Like I said, I don't do raspberries, but when I use vinegar water and my strawberries, I will eat the green leaf on them, because that actually has more nutrients and vitamins than the strawberry does. The stem. A lot of people don't eat the stem, but it's so good for us. Yes? Okay. I love kale. Uh-huh.
Before I juice my carrots. And so if I put it in vinegar water, it's going to be better, right?
Yeah, just rinse your vinegar off.
Which one I have to put it in, soak it in that, then wash it,
Then rinse it. Mm-hmm.
rinse it off.
Yeah.
And how long do I have to leave it in?
15 to 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
40 minutes if you want. I've never timed it.
Beets and everything.
I've actually looked I had it sitting on my countertop, one of the bowls one day, and I was doing something and I looked over and I thought, well, that's strange. And I was looking at one of the bowls, and the way the light was hitting it in the house, there was like a film over top of those grapes. It was grapes that I was doing, actually whatever pesticides or whatever was on those grapes came to the top of the bowl, because I could see it. Yes?
Do you have like a book or a website or somewhere that you have all of these tips and everything outlined?
Well, I have not announced this yet. Simply Yummy CCS that he was talking about is Simply Yummy Custom Culinary Solutions. About 2 years ago, ASI had ate some of my food and said, we want you to start cooking for ASI. And I said, I can't. I'm not permitted to come in these conventions and use their kitchen. I'm not insured, bonded by their company. I'm not employed there. It can't happen. And they said, what can we do to have this food? And I said, well, you can hire me as a consultant. I can work up your menus, your recipes, per whatever you want. And then we can send them over to the convention. They can give you a price on them, and it's up to you whether you want to do them or not. So they did. And it gave me an idea. Dr. Guthrie, when his daughter got married out in California, year before last, I think it was, they kept wanting me to come out and cook. I said, do you know, by the time you flew me out there, my staff rented all this equipment. Do you know how much it would cost you, even if you had the money, to get me there? Because it would be expensive for us all to get there and stay there for 5 days to prepare for 300 people for breakfast on Friday, lunch on Friday, Sabbath lunch, breakfast on Sunday, and the wedding Sunday. I said, it would be astronomical. I said, I just cannot do it. But then that gave me the idea of, yes, I could have. I could have created their menus, created their recipes, sent it to them, and they could have paid a chef there to have done it for them. So that's where the idea had stemmed from. And you're right, all the tips in the kitchen. And I need to do that. I wish I don't have anybody to do it for me. However, I just took a job. For the first time in 12 years, I took a job for the Black Hills Lifestyle and Education Center as their new general manager. So Chef Mark Anthony and I are going to be running the facility to get it up and going to be the best it's ever been. We're creating new recipes. We're creating places where if you want to come on a vacation, you can actually rent one of the apartments there, your family, so it's a destination. You can come there and even have a family reunion or whatever. So we're trying to open it up to where more of us as Seventh-day Adventist Christians, and not to witness to bring them in and be able to enjoy this beautiful facility. So come July 12th, my husband and I will be moving to South Dakota. So I have so little time. Yes, thank you. Well, we prayed about this. We fasted, we prayed, and we asked the Lord, we might be older, Lord, but we don't want to just sit at home. We want to do whatever it is you want us to do. You've given us talents. What do you want us to do? And when it came up, we still didn't say yes. We prayed about it. We talked it through. We talked to our family. And it was like a no-brainer. It was like the Lord just opened up that door and everything that was affiliated with it, and we took that call. Yes, honey?
Vacation destination too, what's around it?
Oh, yeah, you got Mount Rushmore. You've got Custer's Park, the Badlands. You have Crazy Horse. I could just go on and on. The Needle. It's amazing. So God is good. I come on this place here. How did you guys get this property? Huh? What? That's what I'm saying. The Lord has places like this. We should be out here more. This is where God wants us to be, is in the country. Anyway, yes, I'm going to start putting up a website and putting up areas. People can join that website. It will be free, unless it's an executive part of it where you're getting all my free recipes that are out there, and for a small fee you can join that, like a Patreon or something. But I think we need to help more people all over the world so they too can know more about God's original diet as a whole food, plant-based diet. I did bring something here. even though we drove like, no, I have to reframe that. We did not drive like madmen. I drove like a mad woman. My husband keeps in the speed limit. I just pray and go. Yeah, it's like, I'll never forget, we hadn't been married long, and he said something about, do you know what the speed limit is? And I said, yes, it's on that sign over there. He said, well, it's saying 75. And I said, that is a suggestion, my dear. And he said, you'll think suggestion when that cop pulls you over and suggests you get a ticket and pay for it. Anyway, I did it as a joke. I knew better. Anyway, or we went and got here. You know, we didn't get here till after 2 o'clock because his brother-in-law died. He had to go to a funeral. He was in Oklahoma. They had COVID in the air traffic control tower. They had to get it out. He sat in the airport till 9-something at night. He was supposed to leave at like 4-something. And Satan just tried everything he could to keep us from getting here. Seriously, he really did. So I made you a fruit salad because I really don't do desserts. Sorry. And I use lots of fresh fruit. And I cut up my strawberries. I love my strawberries. But I'm going to do something a little different than just fruit. Blueberries. Oh, you know what? We're supposed to eat a rainbow. Our eyes are what the food we see, we eat with our eyes. And so I can't imagine eating something just white or beige. I have to eat color. And my husband can tell you, oh, honey, about how much produce and fruit do we keep in the house on every given day? A lot. A lot. I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. And now so does he. Do you know what this is? Mango. I said if God made anything better than a mango, he kept it in heaven. And we're going to know one day, right? Now, hidden under the mangoes, and I did this on purpose, are my apples. I love ambrosia apples. They're my favorite. They're very sweet. And I did that because I didn't want my apples to turn color. And as you see, tip, orange juice, lemon juice, or another fruit over top because it's the air, the oxidation, that turns the apple or the mango or the avocado colors. And you can take orange juice. I like to get the concentrated. And they have pears in the jar or the can that you can get that have no sugar added. They're just fruit. And I will take some of that and puree it and pour it over my fruit. It'll last for days on end because of the acid in the fruit juice. And the pears just give it such a beautiful flavor. Like concentrated orange juice, it's frozen. So and the pear juice. I'll take it in pairs in their pear juice. I don't buy the ones with sugar added. I just buy the one in pear juice, and I'll puree it up in my blender. And I'll make like a juice to pour over top lightly. I don't drown it in there, but just enough to cover it to where it won't turn colors. And it makes such a good flavor in the sauce. Now I can stop there, or what would you add to a fruit salad to make it a little different? Can everybody eat coconut in here? I'm going to add a little coconut. Now this is nothing but dried coconut. There's no sugar added to it. I couldn't find my nuts. I brought some walnuts, but they're in that car somewhere. We used to have a great big old huge pickup, and the Lord told us he wanted us to buy a smaller car, so we did. We bought that a year ago next month, and it has 27,000 miles on it. And we've slowed down. 27,000. And it took us till about 2 months ago to find out that if you pull the back up where the tire well is, you can get that much more food down in there. So I think that's where those nuts are at. It's down in that back. Okay. Now you can eat it just like that. You can put nuts in there. You can put other kind of fruit. I love melons. My favorite melon is honeydew. I just love honeydew. You got to get a good one. I love kiwi. If I do yellow kiwi, I don't pull the skin off. You can eat it skin and all. If you do a green kiwi, you just take the outside skin off. This is a product that I buy periodically because I make yogurt at home. And I make it with organic soy milk. You can get it at Walmart. It's in a box. And you buy the capsules that are the probiotic capsules. And I make usually 6 to 8 jars at a time. I do not buy yogurt that's processed or has sugar in it. Have you ever tasted yogurt without sugar in it? Mine, the one I make, tastes just like sour cream. So 100% organic soybean milk, soy milk. What's the name of it? Can't think of the name of it. Huh? West Soy. Yes. And I think I do 25,000 for my probiotic. And it is amazing. You don't need sour cream at all. You've got it right there. I mean, it takes me, I bring it up to a certain temperature, bring it down, put the probiotic in it, stir it up well, pour it in my jars that are already clean. I've got a Vita Clay. I put it inside there. Some people use the oven. Some people use their Instant Pot. Whatever you use, you don't have to have a fancy device. You can use your oven. And then in the morning, I get up, take it out, and put it in my refrigerator, and it's done. For pennies. For pennies. I like this product here. This is a kite heel. It is all plant-based. It does not have the oils in it, and it's more like a Greek yogurt. Look at this. Isn't that a beautiful yogurt? Yogurt is good. The cultures I like for our stomachs. Now, I'm going to put this on my salad, but I don't have the right spoon, do I? Let's use this one. This is a black raspberry jam that's made with 100% fruit and fruit juice. There's no added sugar, period. Now, when I make my own, mine is cheap, cheap, cheap in comparison. Look at that beautiful yogurt. And there is no refined sugar added to it. Yes, ma'am. What do y'all have around here? Kroger has it. Kroger has it. If they don't, ask Kroger if they will get it in. They're really good about that, but Kroger usually has kite heel. They also have a silk that's unsweetened. I just like the texture of this one better. I don't like the silk. It's kind of runny. I like the Greek style the best. So that's why I choose this one. And I like a little flavor of a little sour with my sweet. It just makes it so good. A lot of people will take fruit salad and they put whipped cream on it. Well, I just drowned it on my good fruit and pure sugar. So I don't like to do that. Honey, I'm going to have you come up and help me and count how many people there are. So we can, if you want to try it, you're more than welcome to come up and grab one. You don't have to. I don't think you'll need gloves. You're just going to put the spoon in there and pass them around if they want them. Or do you have any questions at all? You ain't scared? Okay, good.
Help yourself.
Thank you. I'm a certified OTT.
Taste tester, that's his job.
You get a spoon?
They do. Oh, that's your job, honey. Grab the spoons over here.
Thank you.
All right.
I've heard someone say
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Use what? Lemon? Yeah, anything that's acidic will help.
Do the same as vinegar water?
I have a full hammer.
No. Sure you can.
Can I take a picture of the container that I can show Kroger?
Yes, you may. Yes, I've got another one here, but I did. What did I do? Oh, that's fine. I just want them to be able to taste it. It should be. Our food should be beautiful. When we look at it, it should taste good. Ellen White says that our food should always look and taste beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, this goes much faster.
I have a question about
Yes. About the what?
the jelly.
Yes.
Do those varieties, do they have natural flavors? I was buying them for a while.
No, this one here, the way that light is, it depends. There's no artificial flavoring, no artificial colorings. In here, it's black raspberry sweetened with fruit juice, concentrates, grape, date, and pineapple, lemon juice, fruit, pectin. That's it.
What brand is that?
This one is my favorite, and I buy it a lot at like TJ Maxx. Mm-hmm. Here, I've got to put some more in there, honey.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm usually really good about looking to see if there are natural flavors, artificial colorings, things like that.
Do you stay away from it?
I try to. I really do. It is, and it has no sugar in it, refined sugar. It does have fruit juice.
And what was this? This is
Kite Hill. Now it's my favorite. They have it at Kroger, you know, your health food stores. This a lot of times, I do oat groats, and I'm going to make some for you while I'm here. I don't use oatmeal. I like the groats. They're very chewy, and it's all whole. It's before the oat has been smashed or refined to make all the way to flour. And so I put this on maybe a little yogurt, and there's a product out there called Nut Pods, and it's made with different nuts, and it doesn't have oil or sugar in it, and I don't mind it, or I'll make it myself. I have a milk maker, a nut milk. It's called Nutri-Milk. So I can make nut butters, and I can make nut milks, I can make oat milk, I can make a coconut, I can make whatever I want to. I can make it in a cream, or I can make it into a milk. And I put that over, but I never add sugar to any of my breakfast cereals or any of it. What do you guys think of that? Isn't it out of this world? It's wonderful.
Is this a one-time thing, or do you have another place?
Every day this week I have one between
Is that
4 and
right?
5, and you get to eat every day.
All right, I'll be here.
Okay.
I guarantee you I'll be here.
Yeah. Yes. I do. Steel cut oats is after the oat groats. They've picked the oat groats, they're dried, and then they cut the oats, so that's steel cut. If they don't cut them, then it's your whole oat, your flat oat. If it's processed to a quick oat, they roll them and roll them and roll them, and then they make a flour out of it. So there's different processings with the oat. I'm going to make oat groats this week. I already brought sausages, and I'm making tofu. So I want you guys to taste food that's whole, that doesn't have all the additives to it. And I think you'll be amazed at how good it tastes just to have that chewiness. When I eat oatmeal, I still have teeth, and it's like, why would I want to just put something in my mouth and swallow it? There's hardly anything to swallow when you eat oats that are just pulverized in water. And I have thank you so much for your help. Thank you. I have a rice cooker. It's stainless. Don't use that one, honey. Get a clean one. I have a rice cooker that's stainless inside, relatively very cheap. They run about $70. I've used it for about 9 years, and I use it every day. I make grains with it. I make rice with it. I make soups in there. I've made sauces in there. I've made all kind of things in that rice cooker. Yes?
About that tofu that you make it into a chicken, what do you season the tofu with to make it a chicken or rice?
What I season it with is I cut it into cubes, and I take it like a shake and bake, and I put my seasoning, which is nutritional yeast flakes. I have a Costco, it's not here, it's down at where we're staying. I have a Costco seasoning that has no salt added to it. Beautiful, organic. And then I add a little bit of McKay's, no MSG vegan, unless you make your own. I have made my own at home too. So you can, and the seasoning, and that is it. I make my chicken, my fried chicken in the air fryer. Yeah, it's just tofu, and then.
Collecting trash so they don't want to lay it on the floor.
Oh yeah, don't lay your stuff on the floor. If you've got trash, hold your hand up and let him come by and collect that for you. Oh, I just put it until it's brown, nice and brown and crispy, and then I take it out. That's it. I put it in that bag and I shake it up, and I put it in my air fryer. And then you don't have to put a sauce on it. Sometimes I'll stir broccoli and carrots nice and crispy. I don't ever make a stir fry where I can just swallow the food. I want my broccoli beautiful green, my carrots nice and orange, and I like my food still having texture. And then I can put a sauce over it if I want to, over rice. I can make a meal within a stir fry with rice and tofu no longer than 30 minutes, no longer. And that's because I have to cut everything up and air fry it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow yet, because we had to get some things from the store, but we didn't have time because of everything that happened the last couple of days. We're going to take off in the morning. I might do the tofu and the scrambled tofu tomorrow and the sausages, and serve those tomorrow. So that would be the one I'm going to do tomorrow. And I make my tofu very simple. Sure. Oh yeah, you'd have it. And I always talk about what I'm putting in. You know, chefs don't measure anything. It's awful. Yes. Yes.
The fruit salad, once you have it like all cut up and that, and you put that sauce on it and mix it in, how long would that last?
You know, I've never added the sauce until I got ready to eat it. I would try it. It's not going to hurt. But we'll have this eaten in the next few days. I know there's some other people that are staying that are whole food plant-based. And then if I have any left over, I'll bring it up here and people can eat it again. But nothing in my house lasts long enough to know, honestly. You know, I have 2 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, and 4 grandchildren. And Rendell has 3 sons and daughter-in-laws, and I think 7 grandkids. So nothing lasts in our house. Hey, you guys, what are you guys doing today? Oh, nothing. Are you cooking dinner tonight? Oh, pancakes. I was going to bring stuff to do pancakes. I couldn't. I just couldn't get it together. But I make a pancake that's gluten-free, no sugar added, no oil added, and it rises. It's nice as you can be. And I'm going to tell you what I do. I take this yogurt, instead of putting syrup on it, I take that yogurt mix, I put it on the top and add my fresh fruit, and my grandkids will eat it till they're sick.
I have an electric grill if you need it.
I just don't have the oats and I don't know, I'd have to look and see. But I mean, it's amazing. And I take this pancake and I put it in the freezer. And when they come to visit Grandma, I can pull them out and I just brown them on the griddle, serve it to them. And I asked him, I said, you know, he says, Grandma, Brady says, Grandma, can we take the rest of the pancakes home? I'm like, well, sure, honey, if you want to. He said, Mama makes pancakes, but I told her they don't taste like Grandma's. I said, well, let's don't tell her that. But I get it. And she buys these expensive mixes that she puts water and egg and all that in, and those kids will not eat it. They will not eat it. They will eat that pancake that I do. It's probably one of my most popular that I've ever cooked for people that I know when Teeny Finley, I was doing a program for him down there at 3ABN, and she must have ate 3 of those pancakes. She came up and she said, what are in those pancakes? And I said, well, you probably should have asked before you ate them. But here's what, and I told her, I said, they are gluten-free though, because I'm celiac, I can't have gluten. Yes? I use oats, but I use 1 degree. I like their oats. They're glyphosate-free. Not for that, no. You can. If you have a Vitamix, sure you can. Yeah, you can do that in a Vitamix, but the groats are so expensive in comparison that I get the big 4 or 5 pound bag of the oats and I use that. And then I put dates in it. I put a whole apple in it. I put a 1/2 cup of almond flour in it. That's my fat. And water, salt, vanilla, and then I do 2 cups of gluten-free flour blend. So I put everything in the Vitamix, blend it up, then I put it over into my leavening, your baking powder. Gluten-free, I have found a secret. I don't know if any of you use apple cider vinegar. Some people don't use vinegar. I think that's a choice. But if you put a tablespoon in anything gluten-free, it'll rise like you've never seen without an egg. I made a quiche for him. My first quiche I ever made was about 3 months ago, and he ate it in a day. Vegan, whole plant-based. He ate it in a day. Folks, I think I need to let you go and get cleaned up for the next people come in here, but thank you for coming. Hopefully you'll come back tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see what we have for you then. Thank you. Yes, I have 3, but I'm out of the 1. And I've tried to get reprinting, but everything is so expensive right now that I'm trying to get a website